Good evening, everyone. My name is Charlie Smith, and I'm the chair of the American Enterprise Institute's Executive Council here on CU Boulder's campus. My team and I have been working very hard to have Dr. Murray with us tonight, and we want to thank Dr. Murray for spending his time and all of you guys for joining this wonderful event. For those of you that don't know, the American Enterprise Institute is a public policy think tank dedicated to defending human dignity, expanding human potential, and building a freer and safer world. AEI scholars take part in this pursuit with academic freedom, researching from economics, education, and healthcare to public opinion, politics, society, and culture. AEI actively seeks and encourages engagement with those who hold different points of view. They welcome civil disagreement because AEI believes that a competition of ideas is fundamental to a free society. With this in mind, our Executive Council here on campus facilitates substantive conversations about public policy by hosting events and activities throughout the year, like this one here tonight and the human trafficking panel we hosted 2 weeks ago. Our opening speaker tonight is Brad Beck, a distinguished Toastmaster and founder of the Liberty Toastmasters concept, of running a traditional Toastmasters club with the theme of individual rights, the proper role of government, and active and engaged citizenship. He has also chartered 6 Toastmasters clubs. After Mr. Beck's introduction, Dr. Murray will begin his talk. Dr. Murray has a PhD in political science from MIT and a BA in history from Harvard University. He is the W.H. Brady Scholar of the American Enterprise Institute, a political scientist, author, and libertarian. He first came to national attention in 1984 with the publication of Losing Ground, which has been credited as the intellectual foundation for the Welfare Reform Act of 1996. His 1994 New York Times bestseller, The Bell Curve, co-authored with the late Richard Herrnstein, sparked heated controversy for his analysis of the role of IQ in shaping America. Dr. Murray's other books include What It Means to Be a Libertarian, Human Accomplishment, In Our Hands, Real Education, and the New York Times best-selling book, Coming Apart, which we will speak about tonight. Before I hand the stage over, I'd like to reiterate some sentiments expressed by Larry King. He says he must remind himself every morning this: nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I'm going to do it by listening. I hope tonight we can all learn from Dr. Murray by listening. I ask that all questions during the Q&A session after Dr. Murray's speech begin with a who, what, when, where, and why. Please ask a question to give clarity and understanding. Now please join me in welcoming Mr. Brad Beck to discuss the importance of listening.
Thank you, Charlie. A wise old owl sat on an oak. The more he heard, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Wasn't he a wise old bird? This is a favorite nursery rhyme that one of my favorite coaches, John Wooden, the Wizard of Westwood, used to share with his student athletes when he was the coach of the UCLA Bruins. I know he wasn't a Boston, don't booby. But Coach Wooden won 10 NCAA basketball championships in 12 years, an amazing feat. Coach Wooden was more concerned about coaching champions than winning championships. And the reason why, he knew if he could get his student athletes to listen, they would become champions. So simple question to you in the audience tonight. By show of hands, how many of you have ever taken a public listening course before? Anybody? Usually there's one or two. I've been fortunate. I've been taking public listening courses since 2005. As was mentioned earlier, I'm a Toastmaster. Most people come to Toastmasters to learn public communication, to be better speakers. But most people leave becoming better listeners. We have roles even for listening. There's the evaluator role, giving critical feedback. There's a general evaluator, giving feedback to the whole meeting. Toastmasters has taught me to be a better listener. It reminds me of a time when my daughter was about 3 or 4, and we were at a friend's house watching a ball game. And my daughter kept coming up to me, Daddy, Daddy, and she kept pulling on my sleeve, wanting to get my attention. And of course, I was watching the ball game. I happened to be sitting on a low couch, and she came up in front of me, and she grabbed me by the face, which was really bizarre. And she said, Daddy, you're not listening to me. And then she looked up and said, Daddy, I love you. And then she scurried off. I never understood the power of listening until that moment. Upon reflection, I realized that listening is love. Listening is respect for yourself, but for others as well. And so the question I would ask you to ask yourself is there somebody in your life that you're not listening to? A friend, a co-worker, a spouse, a professor, a visiting scholar? Are you listening now? The challenge we all face every day is to be more persistent, more determined in our ability to listen. A wise old owl sat on the oak. The more she heard, the less she spoke. The less she spoke, the more she heard. Wasn't she an awesome bird? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Dr. Charles Murray.